and grand risings, everyone. Welcome to round two. If you don't know who I am, my name is Miss Grace, and I come live 3 days a week here with you in my kitchen, talking about politics, social issues, a whole lot of stuff from a non-biased perspective if you don't know who I am. So earlier we did a live highlighting the breaking news that Trump has bombed Nigeria. So as I promised that I was going to come with a round two so we can break this down comprehensively so we can really get an idea of what's going on. So what we're going to do today is look at any new updates between our last broadcast and now, and then we're going to highlight who's Trump actually attacking, who's the leader of Nigeria over the last 10 years. We're going to kind of go into their policies, and we're going to compare, because I talked about something in the last live, so we're going to compare what's the actual oil reserve compared between America, Russia, and China. Okay, because I'm thinking right now we broke. I'm thinking that we have some issues in America. Okay, cool. I just had to make sure that the notifications are going out as well as that you guys can hear me and see me. So I said a mouthful. So before we get to the broadcast, let's just start with our intro, okay? As we try to get people into this live. Hit the like button as you come in. My name is Miss Grace. Yes. All right, all right. So what we're gonna do real quick is just show you guys a flashback of the dog whistles that Nicki Minaj called to pre-warn us, okay? As I mentioned on my last live, I do believe that that was a ritual between Miss Nicki Minaj and Miss Charlie Kirk, Miss Erica Kirk. But let's just listen to this as they bridge us into what was going to happen on Christmas that we did not know. Let's go. Let's do a little flashback real quick. All right. If you can hear or see, please hit the like button as you come in. You know we're going to do a comprehensive live. We're going to try to figure out what's going on, break this down.
Important to you and on your heart. And I personally want to know what inspired you to speak out for the Christians that are being slaughtered in Nigeria.
Well, and that brings me back to our great president and this administration and our great country. That we take for granted that there right now in this world are people who cannot worship God as they please, where they please. We take it for granted because we have it. We can't even imagine not having that right. But every time we pray and fellowship, we have to remember the people that are right now in this world hiding to pray and fellowship.
Whoa, I'm glad she said that because that's what Americans are going through right now.
Okay. So let's finish listening to what Nicki Minaj has to say because she brought this up. And a lot of us, I know it threw me off because I didn't understand why she brought this up. I didn't know that this was a mainstream issue. But again, she started to talk about the Christians being attacked and how we should defend them. Okay. So let's listen to a little bit more of Nicki Minaj dog whistles before we get into the heavy.
Especially to the lost tribe. Shout out to Israel, where we're hiding to worship. We're hiding who we are because we keep getting dismantled and deplatformed. And then why are we worried about people in other countries when we can't even have the freedoms here?
And we have to pray for them. And first of all, Nigeria is a place I've always loved. Someone very dear to me, my pastor, is Nigerian.
And that says a lot to me.
All right, so now we're going to get to the bread and butter. I just wanted to do a quick flashback real quick. And one of the things I didn't highlight is that Nicki Minaj said directly we are going to take no more. And this is how, the news actually put subliminal messages in us because it was just so funny. Now, y'all know I show y'all news from all over. So this is what to us by Indian Times. But the title says, No More Trump, Radical Move to Bomb ISIS in Nigeria. So if we don't know who we're bombing in Nigeria, is ISIS. We're going to get into a little bit of the history, kind of when ISIS showed up in Nigeria, how it kind of happened. We're going to get into the three presidencies a little bit so you guys can see how this kind of evolved and the possibilities that we may have been part of the domino effect of this a little bit deeper than what I thought. Okay, see, I thought it started in 2019 based on my last broadcast, but listening or doing my all right, guys, am I back? Give me 1 second. Let me check my broadcast. Hold on 1 second. Am I back? Am I back? Am I back? Am I back? I do apologize. Hold on. All right, guys. Am I back? Okay. Let's get back to the live. Let's go. Okay, I'm back. I think I'm back, y'all. I'm back. I'm back. I do apologize, y'all. Okay, I had an important phone call. Okay, so we do have somebody in the audience right now talking about Trump 2028. We already talked about that. There's no possibilities of Trump actually becoming president. Only way that he'll have some influence on the presidency if JD Vance, the alleged assassination king, and Nicki Minaj, words, become president. So that's the only way Trump will ever have some hands on that, in my opinion. But, you can live in your Trump world. But in this particular video, I do apologize for the interruption. No more. Trump radical move to bomb ISIS in Nigeria. So I told you guys what we're going to hit. It's going to get a little heavy. Put your thinking caps on, guys. Open your minds. And then I need you guys to research everything that I talk about because I am not 100% right in everything, but I love to learn. So let's go and come with the facts, y'all. Come with the facts. They just releasing these things to us, and we don't promote violence here. Let me turn this down just a little bit because now they make this like an action movie. Okay, they literally just releasing this and making this like an action movie where people are losing their lives, like a video game. So while wishing everyone, let me turn down the volume on this. A Merry Christmas. Donald Trump said many more to them will be dead if they slaughter the Christians continue. So this is let me see if this is improv and I have to read all of this. This is what he said. Tonight at my direction, the commander in the chief in chief, the United States launched a powerful and deadly strike against ISIS terrorists. Hold on, I read slower than what they put up there, but we're gonna get it. Let's just read the whole statement real quick. Bear with me, guys. They hit that real quick. I wanted to get at the bottom and then I'll read the whole thing. Okay. Okay, so tonight, at my direction as Commander in Chief, the United States launched a powerful and deadly strike against ISIS terrorists, scum in the northwest Nigeria, who have been targeting and viciously unaliving primarily innocent Christians at levels not seen for many years and even centuries. I have to read Trump's statements like that. I had previously warned these terrorists that if they did not stop the slaughtering of Christians, there would be hell to pay. And tonight there was. The Department of War executed numerous perfect strikes as only United States is capable of doing under my leadership. Let's keep it going, okay? Um, since it's just an action movie, we'll leave that at the bottom for you. Indian Times. Let's get into the breaking news, and then we're going to break down the facts of what's really going on out there in Nigeria because it's looking like somebody sold out the people. I'm still looking to see what is Nigerian people reactions, and that's what I think is going to lead my opinion about how I feel about this. But from the rip, we don't need to be in war. We don't need to be in nobody's country. We're always chasing after what we created, which is ice, terror. I'm not a big fan of doing that and spending my tax dollars on that when we're so destabilized as Americans, and let's just watch this real quick. Let's just keep it real. This is what's going on.
We have breaking news that we're following right now. President Trump announcing deadly strikes against ISIS in Nigeria, posting on Truth Social, quote, tonight at my direction as Commander-in-Chief, the United States launched a powerful and deadly strike against ISIS terrorist scum in northwest Nigeria, who have been targeting and viciously killing primarily innocent Christians at levels not seen for many years and even centuries. I have previously warned these terrorists that if they did not stop the slaughtering of Christians, there would be hell to pay. And tonight, there was. The Department of War executed numerous perfect strikes as only the United States is capable of doing. Under my leadership, our country will not allow radical Islamic terrorism to prosper. May God bless our military and Merry Christmas to all, including the dead terrorists, of which there will be many more if their slaughter of Christians continue.
Okay, shout out off the live. I do apologize. Shout out to Newsmax, okay, for their take on this particular subject. Now, this is my question. This is what really baffled me. Please let me know if you can hear me, guys, because I've been knocked out by fault of my own, by mistake. I do apologize with my broadcasting. But in the last live, I was like, wait, who would authorize in their own country a strike on Christmas Day against, terror, highlighting that some their people would be affected. Not only that, we're psychologically affected, and we're just watching this like this is a video game, and now we're all numb and cyborgs, you know what I'm saying? Because they're just doing things consistently, having our cortisone going up out through the roof. You know what's going on, our dopamine through the roof. We're just literally cyborgs here. But who does that to their own country, except for Trump? You know what he's been doing to us, keeping us consistently stressed out. So I wanted to find out a little bit more about Nigeria and their president. So let's just break this down verbally of what's going on as far as just learning about the administrations and their approach in Nigeria. Because I was like, who would do that? Because we heard in the last broadcast that the Nigerian president was down for the strike. And I was like, what? What? All right. Now, so over the last 10 years, if you don't remember, we did talk about 2020, 2019, according to the last thing I read to you guys. That's when we kind of entered into Nigeria to help them fight terror. So let's just understand this a little bit more. So over the last 10 years, which is prior to that time, Nigeria has been laid by different presidents that had different perspectives. So these three presidents, one name was Goodluck, Jonathan Goodluck. The second one was Muhammad, and the third one, which is current right now, is Bola. Okay, so Mr. Goodluck, he was the president between 2010 to 2015. Allegedly, he was like for the people, a more democratic approach. Muhammadu, this is his name, was the next president between 2015 to 2023. Now, that's about the time we done snuck up in there to help them with terror. So I'm just trying to understand, like, okay, what's the timeline? Their approach, or his approach under his regime, was all progressive, using the Congress. And allegedly, Bola, who is the new president right now in 2023, he has a progressive approach. So let's talk about the little differences. So Good Luck, which was there about 10 years ago, his policy approach, Jonathan, Mr. Good Luck administration focused on, this was before we entered, okay? Transformative agenda, aiming for economic diversity, infrastructure modernization, electrical formation. His tenure saw Nigeria becoming Africa's largest economy, okay, partly due to the global oil practices boom at that time. So he was using his resources to try to build the infrastructure in, but something happened in 2015. I may not be able to find that out right now, but something happened where the people didn't want that approach, okay? So, key policies event, economic liberations was his focus. The government partly removes the controversial fuel subsidies in 2012, where they probably was charging people a whole lot of money for fuel. Yeah, and that's what they was doing in Haiti once we got taken over by people who were replacements. That's why you heard about. I just got to tell y'all the truth. While they took over the oil rig in Haiti, these people who was terrorists in Haiti, because they was subsidizing the oil and making us pay more. Okay, so he pulled that off to try to help the people. He was anti-corruption, security challenges. This is what he focused on. Now, this was the president 10 years ago in Nigeria. This is a comprehensive breakdown for the people who really want to know what's going on, the why behind Trump's thinking that he can come in and do what he want to do there, even though you know that we don't have room for war or the money. But I like to break things down non-biased and just have us think a little different because they never break down what actually got us here, the why. So I love to talk about the why here. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Miss Grace. So this is what started to happen. So that actual president wanted to change a lot of stuff, but his dream changed in 2015. 4 years later, America came in to help them with terror. Okay. But let's listen. At that time, while we came in, Mohammed was in there. His policy approach was a little bit different. He was a former military ruler. Hmm. Okay, I'm jumping to conclusion. Former military ruler. Okay, came to power with strength, strong mandate, and tactical towards tactical corruption, addressing insecurities. They're not saying infrastructure or whatever, insecurities, and receiving more economic support. That was much different from the other guy. The other guy before him was like, yo, we got oil booming. We want to focus on infrastructure. We can kind of do some stuff ourselves. Hmm. Okay, so let's just move on a little bit. His economic management was something that they had some issues with that particular president, and the Nigerians was going against him because he wasn't transparent. Okay, he implemented social welfare incentive and agriculture programs, according to this, as known as the Barrel program. So it sounds like he tried to ease the people with subsidies. hmm Probably with some of that money he was trying to get from outside investors. I'm just putting things together. You guys can think the way you want to think. If you want to add to the conversation with some facts that you find, I really want you guys to do this because this is a learning platform, not just to talk about politics and kind of broadcast and get the news out there a little bit faster because we be predicting stuff. I kind of predicted this. But yeah, so he gave him a little social services. Okay, so he focused on modernization of tax policies and general governance restructuring, encouraging economic growth and development. He didn't last long. Okay, so they moved on. So now we have Bola in there. So this administration right here, he adopted a more, how you say, they said uh, diversified structural reform approach aiming to attract investments, same thing, and restore fiscal credibility. Now, it's a little different. He wanted to make more friends. His policy has been categorized as bold, intimidating, and often challenged by economic challenges. Okay, so this is what we got with these three presidents. I just wanted to break that down. Let's put that on our checklist because I just wanted to know who would actually approve this. So this man want to make friends and make allies, as well as the one before him during the regime change when the allegedly CIA came in there. They both had that approach, like, yeah, come on in, friends. We got some stuff to give you as long as you give us some money. But we're gonna go on to see what the people actually think in Nigeria. Um, and yeah, keep this broadcast moving. I want to say thank you so much for being here. This is Minister Bourne. Peace. Real wealth ain't numbers. It's knowledge, wisdom, and understanding applied in real time. If you know who you are, the world can't tell you who to be. Elevate the mind, align the actions. Exactly. I respect that. I respect that. That's a word of wisdom for today. Now, this is the Pentagon released the missile launch videos again. Um, I this is all theater to me. Okay, they just released a 17-second video. Trump is not holding nothing back if he's committing war crimes. He don't care. This is it. This is them launching their missiles, to excite mega, so you can continue to fight your Christian crusades now. Now we're part of the Christian crusade. Now, if y'all don't know about the Christian crusade, y'all gonna have to Christians, okay? Because they literally converted people by blood. Go check it out. The Knights Templar in the Christian crusade, baby. Okay. So I have more clips of them just showing, and everything is pretty much fresh right now when it comes to what they're showing. But we're gonna let
Can you tell us about
News
that?
Nation talk.
Yeah, Joe, we are following breaking news into our newsroom out of Nigeria. What can you tell us about that? Yeah, just happening now, just at the top of the hour, President Trump announcing that there has been a Christmas Day strike, an American strike in Nigeria, targeting ISIS elements there. We didn't get too many details other than this is in the northwestern part of Nigeria, according to President Trump. We're basically going off of his Truth Social post, which he just put out. But he announced that he's doing this as a result of Christians in Nigeria being targeted by ISIS elements. Now, we know that for months there has been sectarian violence in Nigeria. We know that Christians have died at the hands of terrorist groups like ISIS, like Boko Haram. There have also been a lot of Muslims killed by both of those terrorist organizations as well in Nigeria. President Trump specifically naming Christians, saying that is the reason that the U.S. struck on Christmas Day. And
wait a minute. I just did y'all hear that? Okay. It went over my head, but I just caught it. So isn't ISIS supposed to be Muslim? So why are they killing their own? I'm confused. Wait, you heard what he said. So this is not isolated targeting for a particular Christian. They have been just targeting just everybody. Everybody? Everybody. Now, before we get into it, what the night ICE and a little bit more about that, I want to talk about what the Nigerian people kind of feel, allegedly from my research, and then you're going to hear a little bit from them. Because the guy that I showed y'all earlier on TikTok, he did a live 1 hour after I got off, and basically talking about how he's feel. He's in Nigeria. He has a pretty good following. We're going to watch that. Okay. So right here, the Nigerian people exhibit a mixed and complex view towards the current administration. Okay, Mr. Bola, largely influenced by economic conditions, ongoing security challenge, there is no one unified stance for either a full support or a universal opposition against him. This is what they're afraid of. The factors that makes them think that they have some issues is the security challenge. A major point in this contention with this administration is that the Nigerian people out there handling of the widespread insecure across the country. So insecurity across the country include Boko Haram, Al Qaeda, and the groups is a major issue. Many Nigerians feel that the security situation has worsened and are critical for the government to proceed and be proactive on any type of violence that is happening in the nation. Now, we're going to talk about Boko Haram and how it kind of got started because people got mixed feelings about Boko Haram because what I'm researching is allegedly that they said at one point at the beginning of Boko Haram's tenure that the people perceived that there was some political people who was fueling Boko Haram. I had to say, who is funding Boko Haram? Just a little bit came up, okay? So this is why the people are like, you got to handle this. And that's what I be trying to figure out, where does money come for these poor countries and these people to get guns and become rebels and just take on, these radical views and start hurting people. Again, I told you how it happened in Haiti. I was just trying to figure out how it happened here in Nigeria. Okay. But allegedly, they said that some political figures may have been backing Boko Haram in the beginning of their tenure. Other things that they have issues with as far as Nigeria, and I'm not a Nigerian, we're just talking about it. This is part of my research. Oh, I hit my mic. Okay, the government stance on Foreign relations. The government interacts with foreign powers such as the United States under President Trump also invokes mixed reaction. While some welcome international assistance in fighting terrorism, there is also strong desire among the Nigerian public for the country's sovereignty and territorial integrity to be respected. Okay? So, political affiliations. As it is a democracy, support often aligns with political affiliations. This is what they're dealing with. Sounds like that happening around here too. Saying Project 2025, but I'll just shut up. That's why y'all be thinking things are we different from other nations. Like we suffering something different. No. Okay. Good versus evil. Okay. The ruling all progressive Congress, where they're saying it's progressive, basically they're saying that they're biased and they're bought and paid. The party's calls for the national support for the president administration. So that party calls for the national support of the president administration, not the needs of the people. That's what I want to hear. That's what I lost actually, in sight of everything that I researched in 2025, Project 2025. I'm like, what about what we want? President agenda, president agenda. Look at it. We're under the president's agenda. How you be like, help? Okay, moving forward. So they're fighting for their sovereignty a little bit, and they're saying some people actually support that. So I think that was something that we wanted to kind of talk about a little bit. Now, what we're going to do is see, can I get to the TikTok of the gentleman that we saw earlier, because he actually released a video 1 hour after we talked. Okay, so let's get it. Here you go.
Thank you for joining me once again. This is my follow-on update on the strikes that was launched by the United States on Nigeria yesterday, the 25th of December 2025. There are a couple of things we need to put into consideration while we are pushing this news, okay? The Nigerian government was part of the operation.
Ooh.
Apparently, they worked hand to hand with the United States forces in coordinating these strikes that was launched on the northern Nigeria, Sokoto State to be particular. According to the Nigerian Foreign Minister, Mr. Tuga, it was a joint operation targeting terrorism. It has nothing to do with a particular religion, a particular tribe, or a particular culture. It was strikes on terrorism in the northern part of Nigeria. So it wasn't like Donald Trump just walked into Nigeria and started dropping bombs. But regardless, it is a shame and a massive disgrace to Nigeria as a country. From what we know now, the strikes were launched on Sokoto State in northern Nigeria. They called it a powerful, deadly strike against ISIS in the northern Nigeria, the northwestern part of the northern Nigeria to be particular. The strikes were launched from an American vessel in the sea somewhere. No location were given, obviously for security purposes. No further details have been disclosed on that strike. All we know is the strike was launched on Sokoto. It was launched from a United States military ship somewhere in the sea. No casualties, or in terms of the ISIS casualties or civilian casualties, no official details have been published.
Okay, so is this theater as far as publicizing this? Thank God that on, the day that the Christians celebrate allegedly Jesus Christ's birth, don't be mad at me, I'm a historian, okay? That this has happened. So just under the guise of that concept, just to play devil's advocate, thank God that nobody lost their life, because mega Trump has no heart. He has no the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ in him or anywhere around him for him to do this on such a day and say Merry Christmas to you. But we can't just put it on totally on Trump, because as this Nigerian native says, it was their government. Okay, I had to put my little bifocals on, my eyes a little dry. It's been a little long weekend, but we got this, boo. Let's go. Let's finish. Let the man talk.
That is all we know for now. Surprisingly, apart from the strike that was launched by the United States on Sokoto yesterday, there was another bomb blast that took place in a mosque in Borno State. Why haven't they reported that? Nobody is reporting on that.
That's what I just asked, because he's the second one to report that Muslims are being attacked too. So I'm glad that he's being honest and transparent. I'm glad you guys are here taking the time to listen so you can get a well-rounded idea of what's going on and just don't react over your emotions. You know what I'm saying? We changing a lot of megas in Trump heart. We make them think over here. They be mad at me, but they be thinking. They be thinking.
I'm confused. Why hasn't anybody, why did the United States or the Nigerian government not mention that in their report? There was another bomb blast that took place in Borno State in a mosque. Apparently, nobody talked about that. There are hundreds of casualties in that mosque bomb blast.
Everything. So hundreds of Muslims died in this bomb blast he's talking about, and America's not talking about it. I'm so glad that we found his page, because we're getting news that most Americans won't never get. Hit the like button, y'all. It's good for that diversity. That's why you're here with Miss Grace. Let's go.
It's getting messy. I told you guys, everything is beginning to get messy, isn't it? Now, let me give you my own overview on everything that happened so far, so good. Now, please, this is my own opinion, okay? Don't judge me. Don't try to come at me. I have the right to express my opinion. And it doesn't mean I'm right, and it doesn't mean I'm wrong. So, let me make 3 points, just 3, 1, 2, 3 points really quickly. First, before I start, let me ask you a question if you're watching this video right now. Do you truly believe for a moment that the United States interest in this matter is truly about protecting Nigerian Christians? Do you? Now, before you answer that question, check this out. So, point 1, have you checked to see the numbers or the amount of other countries that has problem with Christians being persecuted? Why have the United States not gone to bomb those countries or to help the Christians in those countries? Point number 2.
Wait, before you get to point to number 2, I was asking why he ain't helping the Christians in his own country. You know what I'm saying? Taking our subsidies away, snaps away, locking up the homeless, beating us up. You know what I'm saying? Having ICE attack us. I'm with you, sir. Look, go ahead, boo. Finish. I'm asking the same questions. That's why we're not very different as human beings. Go ahead. Finish, brother.
Do you know who created ISIS?
Oh, we about to talk about that.
Do you know the people that are sponsoring ISIS? And using ISIS as a mechanism to disrupt everything? Do you know who the people are?
Educate us, please.
Finally, do you think this bombing of the northern part of Nigeria would make anything, will resolve anything? Will make things better? Will make things go back to normal? Or it will make things worse than it already is? Don't forget, the political leaders and tribal leaders and community leaders that are using these so-called terrorist groups or Islamic groups to terrorize the country, those political leaders, those tribal leaders, those community leaders are still in power. They have not gone anywhere. So it's like they are trying to resolve the problem from the top instead of taking it from the root. The people that are using these men to terrorize Nigeria as a country, they are still in power. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to get your own input on this one. What do you think? Do you really believe the United States interest in this matter is genuine? I've seen a lot of you celebrating.
Get in the comments.
Oh, finally, yeah, Christmas.
Go ahead, get in the comments, Trumps, Megas. Do y'all think that this one, he's asking y'all a question. I'm going to follow through. Y'all know how I feel. But we're going to deep dive just a little bit into Boko Haram a little bit. Because I pulled a Nicki Minaj. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that was the spirit of the Lord in me. We just said that these people may have been sponsored by political figures and things like that. He didn't go into detail, but I hope he would in his next live. Let's just finish listening because this man needs to have the floor. I love to have diversity, and he's asking us some important questions. Come on, let's make it make sense, y'all. Let's make it make sense, Mega. Let's go.
Come early. Donald Trump come to save Christian. Truly, we don't support terrorism. Anything to take terrorism out, I'll vote for it. No, I mean, using terrorism as a form of making a statement is not acceptable at all. I don't support what these so-called Islamic militants have been doing in Nigeria. No, but we need to ask the right questions. Do you know the people that are sponsoring these groups? Do you know the people that created this group? The same people that created this group are now coming to play the Messiah, and all of you are happy. There is something else. Open your eye. Something else is brewing somewhere. But let's wait. Let's wait and see what happens. But what do you guys think? That is the brief update. I will continue to update you guys as I get more information. Have a great day. Please stay safe, okay? Have a great day.
Many blessings to you, to Big Shot 411, filled with the body of Christ. And that's just truth. And just truth. That's what the body of Christ represent. Now, let's get into a little bit of this Boko Haram and what happened. So, Boko Haram was founded in 2002. So, they've been there a little while by allegedly someone by the name of Mr. Muhammad Youssef. Pretty typical name, I'm sorry. The group sponsor has been linked to various sources, including local politician and allegedly Dubai-based finance network. This is just allegedly. I'm reading off of what I'm finding on Google. So, Boko Haram is not foreign entity to the place. So they were established around this time. For the first 7 years, it operated relatively peaceful, focusing on religion, education, and recruiting among poor Muslim families who, with the goal of creating an Islamic state in Nigeria. The group launched its vigilant insurgent in 2009 of July after clashing with Nigerian police force, leading to the death of over 700 members, including the founder Muhammad Youssef, while in police custody. So that definitely fueled what was ever going on at this particular time. Now, this is just a brief synopsis. I think that someone in Nigeria be able to give us a little bit more of who was these people and why they formed. But they obviously formed from the povertized side of Nigeria and the religion of Muslim, which they usually do, because the people in Haiti, if you look at my breakdown of it, those guys looked like ice. And I was like, yo, they look like ice. And they were Muslim. So I'm like, where did they get this behavior from in my country, Haiti? Because our national, practice is Christianity, even if y'all don't believe it. It's just a distorted form of it, just like y'all. We've been taught that saints could help us and, do stuff. That's where the voodoo come from. And y'all just go to all types of stuff. Just think Christianity gonna save y'all. We just use Christianity and it's just so distorted. That's what happened. But I just had to throw that out there real quick. I got distracted. Now let's just move forward. Now, as far as that's why I said I didn't know where the Muslim thing came from in my country, because that's not what we practice. So here in this particular country, you had an insurgent of poor Muslims coming together. So we're going to very influential, broke, and they started to receive money allegedly from some sponsors. So let's look at these sponsors. The group funding the sponsorships allegedly came from a complex reservoir, okay, evolving over time. Local politicians link early in the group history a former clergyman and negotiator, Stephen David. Clergyman and negotiators. Stephen Davis accused local Nigerian politicians, including the former governor, Borough State, Ali Mudo Terror, and Ali Mudu Sheriff, he was a sheriff, okay, of initially supporting and funding Boko Haram. So this sheriff supported Boko Haram. I'm sorry, y'all. I just got a flashback. Did y'all know that barbecue in Haiti was a police? And they infiltrated the police in Haiti through barbecue? We had half bad police, half good police. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I be getting flashbacks because I lived through this. My grandma be telling me the stories. I just know it. So this sounds a little bit familiar. So this gentleman who allegedly was the one of the supporters of Boko Haram was an alleged sheriff in Ali Madu. Okay, these politicians allegedly used the group to make life difficult for the opponents, but stopped funding them after 2007 election, leading to an uprising in 2009. Hmm. Traditional terrorist ties allegedly. Boko Haram has maintained a relationship with other traditional terrorist organizations. It received training and material support from Al Qaeda and Islamic Maghreb. I'm saying that totally wrong. Please excuse me. Which helped the group learn how to construct, improve, and evolve its tactics. In 2015, the group then leader Al Bokar Shakhan pled alleged allegiance to the Islamic State, and that's ISIS. So we need to know who. So it seemed like they were doing something, and they started to get a little riled up, getting fed up. Oh, now we can't get no money. Y'all use us for our vote, and now y'all in there don't care about us. Now you got ICE, which was separate from the original people who were fighting, come in and say we'll help you. Who created ICE? So ICE was different from the founders. This is good to know. So then they pledged to ICE in 2015. This was 2015. This when things started ramming up in Nigeria. That's probably why publicly and politically America was able to go in there then around 2019. What I read to y'all, the U.S. provide counterterrorism support in numerous military campaigns currently operating within Nigeria, which was called Jukebox Lotus, Objective Voice. That was in our last live. And the U.S. officially opened Nigeria Air Base in 2019. So they probably was in there around that time, 2015, 16. It's a little bit overlapping. So they service the base out there. They have American troops out there already. We just spread thin because we just the police everywhere. We've been out there, y'all. So now we have more people that's going to be sent out there, allegedly. Now let's just move on a little bit because we're trying to find out about Boko Haram. So do we understand a little bit more? I love researching. So the criminal activity of Boko Haram sustained itself throughout the last couple of years. Criminal activities such as kidnapping for ransom, which has been a major source of funds. Ooh, who's scared to go to Haiti? Sometimes, even me, because that's one of the major problems. That you go to Haiti, you go get kidnapped. I'm just moving forward. Financial networks. In March 2022, the U.S. Department of Treasury sanctioned a network of 6 individuals for establishing a cell in the United States Arab UAE to raise funds and provide material assistance to Boko Haram. Okay, so then you have the Arab coming in allegedly, and that's where we get the probably a little bit Dubai connections. I'm glad I ain't never going to Dubai, baby. I will never make it there. I'll be trying hard too. You can't do nothing there, woman. You can't even breathe. Okay, so let's just close off with this so we could just get a better idea of the foundational relationship between ISIS, Boko Haram. We got a political view of what went on over the whole a decade of the 3 presidencies. I hope we learned a lot today. I ain't gonna keep y'all long. I'm almost done. So this is what it's saying. Controversial alliance with Boko Haram. The United States Congressman Scott Perry claimed in February 2025. Oh, somebody was preparing us. So maybe somebody dropped a message before Nicki Minaj that the United States Agency for International Development indirect. Oh, I'm going to bed. Hold up. I'm not. Listen, I be skim reading my stuff. We're gonna get to it. Let's read this. Controversial alliance. According to, this is a Google search, the United States Congress, Scott Perry, claimed in February 2025 that the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID, indirectly funded Boko Haram through an aid program. However, United States officials denied this, and the Nigerian Senate launched an investigation into the matter. The Senate, not the president in there, but the Senate, they probably trying to fight like us. They Senate probably trying to fight like our Senate can't get nothing done. The U.S. government has officially supported Nigeria counterterrorism effort through initiatives like Trans-Sahara Counterterrorism Partnership. Did we learn a lot today? Trying to figure out why Trump think he could go in there. This has been a setup, just like we broke down the Venezuela thing. They've been planning on doing this, but Trump just rock out with his. He don't care. And the more that he gets in trouble and try to cover his nonsense and he be losing, he's going to keep on doing reckless stuff like this. So how many wars can we be stretched out to, Mega? Mega. Mega. I'm gonna call you Mega just like I call Terra. Cause y'all Mega going around and Trump going around like terrorists. All right, so let's just watch this U.S. airstrike, and we're kind of gonna go off on this note. This is brought to you by Hindu Cent Time. Y'all know I get from all types of places. United States airstrike Nigeria live. U.S. launches strikes against Islamic State militant in Nigeria Northwest. So let's hear what they got to say a little bit, and then we're going to get to another one. Now, this is an ongoing live right here I'm showing y'all. We ain't about to watch this whole thing, but this is literally 24-hour broadcast. So let's listen what they got going on. Foreign intervention. Come on. Uh-oh. What they say? Let's watch this. We came in on a good part. Let's watch a few minutes of this, and I'm going to get quiet. So this is out of United States perspective. They making this into a movie, y'all.
The United States has carried out airstrikes against Islamic State militants in northwest Nigeria, targeting what Washington describes as ISIS-linked positions in the region. President Donald Trump announced the strikes in Nigeria in a post on his social media platform on December 25th, framing the operation as part of his global counterterrorism push. Trump claimed that the Islamist group hit in these strikes has been targeting Christians in the affected areas, saying the action was meant to protect vulnerable religious communities. Initial reports from the ground and from U.S. officials indicated there were no immediate confirmed injuries or casualties from the Nigerian strikes, with damage assessments still underway. Trump said, and I quote, "Tonight, at my direction as Commander-in-Chief, the United States launched a powerful and deadly strike against ISIS terrorist scum in northwest Nigeria, who have been targeting and viciously killing, primarily, innocent Christians, at levels not seen for many years, and even centuries. I have previously warned these terrorists that if they did not stop the slaughtering of Christians, there would be hell to pay, and tonight, there was. The Department of War executed numerous perfect strikes, as only the United States is capable of doing. Under my leadership, our country will not allow radical Islamic terrorism to prosper. May God bless our military, and Merry Christmas to all, including the dead terrorists, of which there will be many more if their slaughter of Christians continues," unquote. Later, the U.S. Secretary of War said the airstrikes were carried out in coordination with the Nigerian government, stressing that Washington had acted with Abuja's consent and cooperation. Pete Hegseth further hinted that more strikes against ISIS targets inside Nigeria could follow, suggesting an extended U.S. campaign if the group continues to operate there. Hegseth said, and I quote, "The president was clear last month. The killing of innocent Christians in Nigeria and elsewhere must end. The Department of War is always ready. So ISIS found out tonight, on Christmas. More to come. Grateful for Nigerian government support and cooperation. Merry Christmas," unquote. A post by U.S. Africa Commander.
Wait, so I just got to pause right here. Y'all think that the Nigerian people like that man who allow someone to come and bomb in their country, mess up their infrastructure a little bit more, and they already had infrastructure issue, and do it on Christmas? Oh, I'm gonna be watching what's going on out there and really figure out what the Nigerian people feel about this because this doesn't look like a good look. Let's listen to this just a little bit more, and we're about to log off. We're coming to the hour point. I do want to say thank you so much for being here with Miss Grace for round two. This time we did a comprehensive breakdown. Before it was like TikTok, TikTok. Look what they saying. Oh my God! I woke up at 1 o'clock in the morning like, Mary. Another satanic ritual. He caught it right on time when them witches out there praying. Let's go.
In an ambush attributed to ISIS, with US commanders presenting the strikes as direct retaliation for that attack.
Nigerians, those who are not exposed to using arms, will now be exposed to using arms. Because when America invades Nigeria, they are not only invading Nigeria for mineral resources, economic and political, like I said, they also use it in pushing the Christians to fight the Muslims. The coming of Dangote refinery has further revamped, the stability of naira against dollar. So therefore, America is feeling threatened by these policies. So America will just use these Christians as an scapegoat to attack Nigeria, not necessarily to salvage Christians, but rather an attempt to harness the resources in Nigeria. Libya should be a lesson. Afghanistan is a lesson. Ooh. Even after fighting the Taliban over years, when America realized that they are voting what they want, who do they allow to come into power? The same Taliban. Because someone went to the...
We're going to leave this right here for you. You know why? Because this is an ongoing 24-hour broadcast for you guys to see how they feel in Nigeria. We're not just going to report American news here. And they're basically saying what many other countries are saying when America is in this particular situation, that this is a proxy war to gain their resource and to gain political foot in a country that we don't own. And we're using the guise of Christianity, one, to go against Islam to create this concept of, again, of the holy war, also highlighting, or can I say pushing the narrative of end days, but we're just going to leave that right there. And I don't think that they agree with this, plain and simple. Now he said, again, the people are saying, look, and I'm going to repeat what he said, now we're going to be faced with basically having bombs on our land. I don't think they want this. So with this being said, I want to say thank you for being here with Miss Grace. Y'all going to go off with my intro and exit. Let's go, because you know who walks with us. Who walks with us? Listen. Hold up. Let me just answer your question at the bottom, okay? You said, what are you affecting or helping with by this channel? Well, basically, what I think I'm doing is having great conversations that come from a critical thinking perspective that's not biased. As you guys know, if you don't know, I am a separatist. So I separate from the BS. I'm not a Democrat or Republican. Also, because I very much tell everything from a truthful perspective, and my heart is still activated, and I'm not numb, or I don't have that gang mentality. I think that is very important for someone like me to come out and help maybe spark the light that'll help you get your heart back beating. Does that make sense? So let's spread a little love and truth. And if you're actually a Christian, listen to this Hebrew woman. Guess who walks with us? Okay. Let's do it one more time. One more time. Enjoy your day.